Alright, what's up, bros? It is Saturday and I leave tomorrow and I am so excited, but I wanted to make this video real quick just to explain why there was no back workout or shoulders. I just decided to just chill out so that way I'm not sore when I get to Colorado, and it's just, I don't know, it's not a big deal. And so I just did a couple small things on my own. It wasn't worth making a video of. It was just something to make sure the muscles don't fall asleep, basically. And we'll be doing full workouts down in Colorado. Now, as far as the content goes, I'm going there to spend time with my sister and my nieces first and foremost. So the channel is a secondary thing for that. I have things planned, but I don't know if I'm going to edit it and post it while I'm there, or if I'm just going to shoot everything and do it when I get back. Most likely I'll do it in the moment, but the main thing is I just want to, I don't know, I don't have a set plan, or, so there may be a week or something that goes by without a video, or I may post a video in 2 days. I don't know. It's, but the last thing I'm gonna do is go there and put a camera in front of my sister and niece's faces or anything like that. Like I said, there is a couple things I want to do, and so I'm gonna do that. So there will be content. I may try and get like a day pass once or something just to do some deadlifts and stuff, but the main plan is I'm gonna take my bands, and I have a 50-pound kettlebell there, and then there's an actual bike there that I know I can use, and of course I can walk. So I mean, for 1 week, 50-pound kettlebell and bands, that's more than enough. And I'm going to take some of my heavier good ones right there. That's that. As far as I'm not going to spoil what I got planned, but y'all are going to like the couple things at least that I have planned. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm thinking of doing, but I'm not 100% sure. So I don't know when things will be posted, but there's going to be things coming from it. And after all, I shoot everything with my phone anyway, so it's not hard. My camera's always with me that way. So that's where we stand with that. Now, what is we doing beyond? I want to touch on that for a minute. Y'all have heard me talk about Thomas DeLauer a lot, and that's because I learned most of what I know regarding fasting and keto in relation to working out and fitness and overall. I've learned most of that from Thomas DeLauer. I've learned a lot about the keto diet itself and the health aspects of it from Dr. Berg. Those are the two most, and there's a few other ones. There's Dr. Berry, there's Dr. Fung, there's Dr. Boz, the carnivore guy, I can't think of his name. But anyways, there's a few of them. But those are the two main ones. And regarding the fitness, like I said, Thomas DeLauer is number one. That's why I talk about him, because that's where I've gotten a lot of my information from, and I've compiled my own thing, right? I'm not following anyone's anything, but I took a bunch of chunks from DeLauer, some from Berg, and then a few from Boz, and all this over all this time. I'm mainly talking about the fasting aspect right now. But Thomas DeLauer just made an interesting video. I think it was 2 days ago. I'll make another video, I think, when I get back, kind of like, well, I don't know, where I play the video and then I stop and talk about it, because it's important to what I'm doing next. That video that I posted, that video I made, I don't know, like a week ago or whatever, the unbox and chill number 2, and I decided not to, just because of the tone. I don't know, I don't even remember, because I just deleted it. I didn't like it, so I didn't post it. But part of what was in there, and one reason why I decided not to post it, is that it had an outline of what I plan to do next. But I didn't want to front run that too much. I wanted to think more about it, because it is pretty radical. It is pretty insane. And in fact, I don't know anyone that's ever done this for actual building muscle, where I am actually going to attempt, based on what I have learned from my experiences and from everything that I've read, because I'm not a huge science bro, obviously, but I do listen to some studies and all that. I think there's a lot of propaganda in a lot of that, so I take it with a grain of salt. But that's one reason I love DeLauer, because he's very sciencey, so it's a good balance to my gunslinger mentality to have a good science bro approach. That's why I also watch Mike Israetel stuff. Plus, he has a great sense of humor. And even though that's like the exact opposite mindset I have, everything's slow and controlled and perfect and all that, I don't give a shit about any of that at the end of the day where I'm doing. But I've learned a lot from watching Mike Israetel shit. And like I said, he's funny as hell. He has a great sense of humor. And so I relate to that because I love a good sense of humor. That the internet needs a lot more of that genuine, authentic, assertive sense of humor. But so what I was thinking about doing, so what I've been thinking of is calories in, calories out, but not on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis and even a monthly basis, right? And the reason why I'm bringing up Thomas DeLauer's video, because the last one he just posted was like, I don't know, it's like 2 videos back. How to gain, if I wanted to gain 10 pounds of muscle in 60 days, this is how I would do it. And he outlines exactly what he would do. And one of the first things he talked about was his mini bulks and cuts in a week. Now, what I was thinking about doing with my fasting and all that is doing like 4 days, like a 4-day big surplus, and then a 3-day fast every week. So I'm talking, so for me, my calories, my BM or TDI or whatever the fuck it is right around 4,000, 4,100, somewhere in there on when I'm doing my workouts and my cardio. Especially with what we're going to be doing in this, but we'll get to that in a second. Okay? So, if I take a 500 calorie or deficit from that, that's 35,000 times 7, which is 7, 14, 21, 2450, okay? So 2450, we'll just call it for simplicity, 25,000 calories in a week. With me between maintenance and a 500 calorie deficit, because on the days I don't do legs, for example, and I don't work out, I just do my walk, that's probably closer to like 3,500. Because I burn a shitload of calories on my workouts. I know that, there's a thing, you don't burn a lot of calories. Maybe for most normal people, that's true. But for my big ass and the workouts I do, the sweat, all you gotta do is look at the sweat. Each set is like a fucking sprint for me. Because my cardio is it's gotta catch up, and I'm so big, so I'm huffing and puffing, I'm sweating like, my workouts are like sprints. When I work out, it's like running a bunch of sprints. So my workouts are very intense. And so I burn a lot of calories for that. It's between 500 and 1,000 easily. Just based on the numbers I've looked at from walks and rucking and all that, I guarantee you I'm burning between 500 and 1,000, if not more. Especially on some of my crazier workouts now that I'm integrating back and legs on the same day. Bro, that's crazy, right? Okay. So getting back, 25,000 calories in a week. So how about I just drop 1,000 calories from that. That puts 24,000 calories. And so 4 days, I'll eat 6,000 calories, and then I fast for 3 days. Why? So I'm not just doing that on a nilly-nilly. Why would I want to do that? First of all, I've done 3 extended fasts since I started this last November. The first and the second one, I had a crazy response to where I got stronger. Something happened. I don't know what. You can watch the series, and I am 100% truthful in that. That's just you. I don't even have to necessarily explain it. You can watch it. All of that is real. The freak outs are real. I didn't know what the fuck was happening, especially in the second one where I legit got 25 to 30% stronger. Like that. Now I've done some research and I understand that. Plus, I already common sense philosophy. I had already used common sense philosophy on it to kind of, why would that be? Well, it makes sense. You want to be stronger and faster to survive. Your body has this natural governor on at all times. I don't know if you know that, but that's why these people can lift cars and shit when they're like, their kid is sitting there being smushed, and then you see these shit, like, that's real, because your body has a governor, and then in life or death situations, you can take that governor off. That's the whole principle behind my grunge sets, right? Which is just my take on, like Mike Mincer's thing, or just about every intense bodybuilder. They can all do it, right? Serious lifters, they all have that mode they can kick into. It's just, I call it a grunge set, and it's my thing, and I've shown it. I'll do my normal sets, and then I just bitch slap myself and go crazy, and then I do like 50% or more reps for that last set, because it's just, I'm going all out. I put myself in a life or death situation in my mind. Brain responds, adrenaline just floods me, and boom, we're going. Something is happening. And then those first two fasts, I had crazy surges of energy. When I was working out, I got hyped. I was like, yo! I meant that. Like, that shit was like, whoa! And that was, but those first two, I did that fast after big binges, right? So both of those times I had a fat boy emo moment, binged for a while, and then came back, made a video explaining it, and then I worked out for a few times, and I was like, okay, fuck this. And then I did an extended fast, or I did an extended fast, then made a video, but whatever. It was like, that's, fasting is just a way for me to kind of just snap back into the moment, right? And not let a week binge turn into a month binge and then just fuck everything, right? That, and then obviously y'all. This last fast I did, which was 3 days, I didn't have any of those effects. I felt fasted. I felt weak. I only did 19 reps on push-ups, and then I only did 18 reps, and those 18 reps felt like, it was just, it felt different. And the only thing I could think of was that was a fast. It was like only like 2 or 3 weeks on the heel of the last one I had done, whereas I did my first one like last April, or March, and then the second one I did sometime in June, and then this last one I did, just like, what was it, a couple weeks ago, if that. So that was only a few weeks in between, whereas the first and the second one were months apart. So that's the first variable. The second variable was I didn't do any kind of binge before this one. I went straight into my normal deficit of 3,200 calories, which seems like a lot, but for me that's a pretty gnarly deficit, which I didn't even realize how much of a big of a deficit that was until Will Tennyson's like, my maintenance is 30-something thousand or 30-something hundred calories, and I'm like, wait, your deficit's that? And I'm okay. So then I started looking into it and actually calculating that shit, and I was like, holy shit, yeah, I'm in a ridiculous deficit. I'm in like 1,000 calorie deficit eating 2,800 calories, over 1,000 calories, which is insane. Not what you want for body recomposition, which is my goal. It's not just to lose fat. At the end of the day, I'm having fun. It doesn't matter to me if this takes a year, right? I'm happy, I'm having fun, and that's what I want. I want at the end of this to have as little loose skin as possible, and I want to do what everyone has always said, right? There's always, the last 20 years when I fantasized about losing weight, it was always just losing it as fast as possible, disappearing, showing up, just surprising everybody. That's like the fantasy I've always had, which is exactly why I needed to do the exact opposite, because that was not the best thing to do probably for me. And that's what most people do, right? Because you just finally, you hit that gear and you're like, all right, fuck this, I want to just get it off, and it's, and there's a decent idea behind that, because you're easing pressure on your heart and all that. So the idea is just get the fat off as fast as possible, then build the muscle. Well, my mindset is I want to get the fat off and build the muscle at the same time, right? Because I have like literally four Olympic plates. Well, I started off with 5 Olympic plates on my body. Why would I want to get rid of that? That's like $400 for free, right? That I don't need to. That's why I could do the first 4 months with just a 100-pound barbell. You know what I mean? That's baby weights. If I was like 300 pounds, if I dropped down to 300 pounds, you know, then I'm sitting there having to, so there's a lot of different reasons for it. That's a lot more money for weights and all that. Plus I would lose a shitload of muscle, just burning it, you know, burning the fat. Not always. There's one guy that that actually did really good. I forget, Simon or some shit. You know, he kind of went big into the whole peptides route, so I stopped watching him because I just don't care about any of that shit. But he did a crazy weight loss, and then he did a video with, I think, Will Tennyson, and lost a shitload of weight and is built as fuck. And you know, so he did it. He's a good example of actually doing it that route and retaining a shitload of muscle. But that's just not what I want to do. You know, I'm 36, so I got to utilize whatever I can so that I don't have, you know, I don't want 30 pounds of loose skin. You know, I don't want my stomach hanging down below my knees. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's just why I decided to do this. And plus, I'm having fun. And yeah, I like doing little different things. The whole fasting thing just ticks all those boxes. And what I have discovered is that I truly believe this, and this is not based on any, well, the HGH spike, I know that is science related. Your HGH goes up hundreds of percent when I think it's right at that 3-day mark is when that starts. And so that's why I'm targeting the 3 days and not 2 days, because I want that massive HGH spike, because I think that is an anabolic effect where you have an extended fast. And as I've learned from experience and from watching actual scientific studies, as long as you're moving while you're fasting, you are not going to burn muscle. Like that just, and when you're natural anyway. That may be different if you're taking steroids and stuff like that, but building, especially with newbie gains and all that, this muscle's not going anywhere. Yeah, so I'm going to utilize that. And I also think there's literal anabolic steroidal effects to fasting, and I'm going to figure it out. And I think combining that with a surplus when you're not fasting, yeah, I'm telling y'all, I figured some shit out, and we're going to experience it together. I'm learning this as I go. That's why I'm kind of changing what I'm doing every so often. And yeah, you know, and hey, I could be completely wrong, and you're going to see it, you know, and I'll do this next 60-day thing, and then it'll be I doubt it. But if that's the case, that's the case, because I'm doing real science. I'm applying the scientific method to my body with my theories and thesis, and now I'm testing those in live time, and y'all are watching the whole thing. This is science. This is gunslinger science, and you don't need fucking a massive degree to apply the scientific method. You just need to understand what it is and honestly seek the truth. That's all science really is at the end of the day, is solving problems and finding the truth to whatever solution you're looking for, albeit good or bad, for or against your theory. You just want the truth. That's real science. From a common sense standpoint, I had already came to that conclusion. Just looking at fucking nature, grizzly bears, from grizzly bears to tigers to wolves. I mean, it's just, we're at the end of the day, we're all mammals, right? So there's obvious differences, but you know, it's just, we're fucking animals. We're all animals, okay? And so there's certain things that there's just certain truths that go through all that. And I guarantee you 5,000 years ago, we weren't eating fucking 3 square meals a day, right? You got up and you worked, unless you were royal, right? But if you were the 99.9%, you got up and you worked, you earned some money, and then you fucking bought a loaf of bread or some meat or whatever. At the end of the day, you went home and ate that one meal. I mean, you read old Roman shit, you know, you read some of this Greek shit, or you know, you read some of these old ancient texts, and that was more of like the lifestyle. Like you worked every day for your food, and that's just kind of how it was, and that's civilization. And then that's not even counting the tens or hundreds of thousands of years before that, we were re-evolving before known civilization. So DNA has spent millions of years evolving in a certain way. And again, that doesn't mean human beings have been here millions of years. That means our DNA has been here millions of years, because our DNA goes all the way back to when we were little fucking rodents or whatever we came from. That part of those original little rodents that supposedly survived the dinosaurs and where all mammals come from, whatever you believe. But let's go with that. That's the common working thesis, accepted thesis, that we all come from these little rodent things. Well, we have DNA going all the way back there, genetic memory. Okay, it's been split, all this crazy, but at the end of the day, our DNA has bits and pieces from those original little fucking rodents, because that's how that shit works. So taking all that information, this just seems like an interesting thing, right? You go through these periods of feast and famine. And that's from looking at history and stuff from a commonsensical lens. And then using my own experience, whenever I fast after having big surpluses, this crazy effect happens. Now the difference is, and this is going to be hard, because I don't plan on eating carbs, because carbs still, they just fuck with me. You know, they give stuffy nose. I don't want to be eating carbs. So that's 6,000 calories of meat and fucking fat. That's a lot. So obviously I'm not going to be doing OMAD. I'll be eating 3 to 5 meals a day. But it'll be keto. And it'll be 4 days on, 3 days fasting. And then I'm going to work out the details. This is something I'm going to be thinking out for the next week, especially, and really refining. I'm taking notes and just, you know, trying to work this out in my head, right? Going what feels right, what seems right. And so I just think, and so the basic premise is I eat this big surplus 4 days in a row, and then I have that 3-day fast, to which, but without carbs, I'm immediately going to go into fat burning mode and muscle sparing mode. So that those 4 days I'm going to be building muscle, and obviously probably a little fat, and then that 3-day fast, I'm going to burn through that fat, because assuming I store all 2,000 calories extra each day, that's 6,000 total, right? So that's less than 2 pounds of fat if I stored every little bit. And then I'm going to be fasting for 3 days, which is 10,500 calories. So that's still a deficit, which is basically exactly 1 pound of fat worth of deficit per week, while building muscle in a surplus, while utilizing steroidal anabolic effects of fasting, and massive HGH spikes. And I think my testosterone is going to go up too, because I'll be at a surplus for the most part. Yeah, so this is the mad science shit. So this is what type of shit that when I said I'm gonna be my own Frankenstein, I fucking meant it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready to do some crazy fun shit. That's just who I am. That's my personality. And this is what feels right to me. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna work on it, refine it in my mind, think about it some more. You know, and also, and one other thing is I stopped taking creatine months ago, but for this, to actually really put on muscle, one of his recommendations is he would start taking 10 grams of protein, or 10 grams of creatine during this period where he's trying to put on this 10 pounds of muscle. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to follow that advice. My own take on the mini bulks and cuts, and instead of during a week, it's a month. I'm looking at everything in a month, 6-week period. There's something about a 6-week period that just clicks with me. Like a 6-week period, that's enough time to gather real data. And then if you divide that in half, by 3 weeks, you can kind of get some. But it's, especially with the in-body, it's hard to really get a real read after only 2 weeks. Because it's just that there's a margin of error on there that that margin of error can supersede, you know, it can be like over a half a pound, I think. With how much mass I have, I can easily, that thing could read up or down like a third or a half a pound. And we're also going to be rucking. So again, I'll talk more about, I've got to refine this more, but I haven't opened it yet, but this is a heavy duty pack that I bought exactly for rucking. And I've got the weights. I don't need to buy weights. I'm going to just throw weights in here, and eventually by the end of this, we're going to be, with the whole 100 pounds that we've already lost, we're going to put in here. And so that's going to be our cardio, is rucking, and then like been doing when I work, I'll do recumbent bike. Except on legs, that's the one time I won't ruck, is after legs. Yeah, that's the plan. That's an update. And I think that's all I got until I see y'all next. And like I said, I don't know when that'll be. So stay tuned. Woo.